Coach Hooper here yet?
All witnesses present except for Mrs. Hingelmeyer.
Where is Mrs. Hingelmeyer?
Mrs. Hingelmeyer said she would be here after choir practice. Shouldn't be long.
It's getting dark in here! Mommy! Mr. Bojangles is in my closet!
This is ridiculous.
What? What?
You were dreaming and moaning like a wounded hog. Teddy and I have work to do.
Actually, it was a nightmare. I was dreaming of the school field trip we had to the state fair in the 6th grade.
Shut up, Archer.
Remember, Odessa?
Remember what?
It's none of your business, Teddy.
Actually, it's in the public record. Teddy has a right to know. Odessa and I were madly in love.
Lie number one.
She called me Sweet Cheeks back in those days, and I called her Twinkles.
I had a dog named Twinkles.
Archer is lying, Teddy.
Oh.
Anyway, she asked me to go on this spinning ride, the scary one. What was it called, honey?
It was called the octopus, and don't call me honey.
We just went round and round and round again. We were holding on and laughing like two happy hyenas. And then, tragedy struck.
Tragedy?
You're pathetic, Archer. I got sick on his tennis shoes. Motion sickness. What, 6 years ago, Archer? And he still can't let it go. Still can't be a gentleman. And you know why he brings it up at least once a year? Because it's the most exciting thing that has ever happened to him in his otherwise pitiful and inauspicious life.
My life isn't pitiful and inauspicious. It's just boring and senseless.
Don't you see what he's trying to do, Odessa?
What are you talking about?
He's trying to get under your skin before the trial. He's trying to derail your legal instincts by annoying you.
How dare you slander me at your peril, Teddy Phelps?
Well now, Teddy, I used to think you were incapable of psychological analysis, but you have nailed his motive exactly. To upset and distract me. And he almost had me falling into his trap. Sorry, Archer. I'm a highly trained legal advocate, a seasoned prosecutor with her eyes on the prize, and nothing you can do or say will take my eyes off that prize.
I apologize. Hold me.
Oh, I do, Archer. I hold you in contempt. I told the faculty legal committee that they were making a very big mistake. I told them that Tawny Linkletter needed an attorney with brains, skill, and true grit, because that attorney would be up against the most in-your-face, undefeated, two-time state finalist teen court prosecutor in the history of our school.
And that would be...
That would be me. But no, they stuck their hands in the proverbial hat and pulled out your name. The biggest teen court trial of the decade, and who does Tawny have to rely on to defend her very life? Sad, but true. In this corner, representing the most unlucky defendant in the history of teen court, Archer Attaway.
Since when did you care one teeny weeny itsy bitsy bit about Tawny Linkletter?
It's not Tawny Linkletter I care about, Archer. I care about justice.
Me too. Justice is cool.
Archer, listen to me. Pull out the 11 pounds of bubblegum you've had in your ear since 3rd grade and listen. Tawny Linkletter has been Miss Everything in this town since 1st grade. She owns it. All of it. Her daddy has more money than most third world countries, and her mother is a member of every civic club in the city. I'm going to be fighting with everything I've got to take her down, and take her down hard. That's the way I roll. I was hoping she would get a decent attorney, because I will be measured by the skill of my competitor. But if you get out here and make a fool of yourself in a mockery of the verdict, then my efforts will have been for naught.
So, you want to win, but you don't want me as her attorney, because if you think I'm her attorney, you'll win? Makes sense.
People are going to be interested in this trial. Important people. And I want to shine, Archer. I want to blaze my way into the annals of high school jurisprudence. But I can't rise to the level of performance I want so desperately to achieve if my opposing counsel is nothing more than an incompetent dweeb, a stumbling law dork. I can't get all the glory I deserve because you will get all the blame, and you will wind up at the end of this trial, as you have wound up at the end of every endeavor you have undertaken in your miserable life. You will once again be the loser.
Ouch.
Nothing personal.
I was beginning to get worried.
What do you have to worry about? You're not the one on trial. You're not the one with your reputation on the line. You're not the one who's going to have to face the consequences if convicted. Are you sure you're ready for this trial?
Ready. That's a good one.
All rise. Teen court's now in session.
The Honorable Novella Watson is presiding. That's me. Please be seated. I see everybody's present. Ms. Permian, any remarks before we get started?
I just want to say, I consider it a great honor to be able to try this case in front of a jurist of your caliber, Judge Watson.
Your attempt to suck up to the court is duly noted. Please sit down. Mr. Attaway, anything you'd like to add?
Your Honor, these charges represent a justice system run amok, a world gone mad, and a prosecutorial vendetta that should shock the conscience of the modern world.
Your outrage is duly noted. Please sit down. This case is set for a trial on the merits. I'm calling case number F2292, Notre Dame High School versus Tawny Linkletter. What says the prosecutor?
We are ready, Your Honor.
What says the defendant?
We are totally, absolutely, and completely ready, Your Honor.
Tawny Linkletter, you're charged with the school infraction of plagiarism of the second degree, which is alleged to have occurred on or about the date of October 31st, 2021. How do you plead?
I plead guilty, Your Highness.
Guilty. You're supposed to plead not guilty.
You can't plead guilty. What about my trial?
Me too. One more conviction and I let her.
My client enters a plea of not guilty, Your Lordship.
I'm getting mixed signals here.
A lot of people think I did it. A lot more probably hope I did. With Archer as my attorney, Otis is probably going to prove I did it. So why should I put everybody, especially me, through all this drama? Guilty. Punish me as you please, Judge Watson.
Your Honor, may I have a word with my client, please?
Please be brief, Mr. Attaway. I'd like to finish the trial before I retire.
Tawny, how long have we been friends?
We've never been friends. We've known each other since elementary school, but we've never been close. We've never confided in each other or danced. We've never shared a bag of chips or laughed at the same joke. We've never...
Okay. You went one way and I went the other. You chose the path of honor roll, fame, and popularity, while I chose the path to...
Obscurity? Invisibility? I don't know you any better now, Archer, than I did in second grade. You lack presence. There just isn't any there. You refuse to invest in a commitment because it required emotional effort, which you are unwilling or incapable of providing.
What? Could you say that again?
No.
Well, at least I'm funny. Just ask my friends.
What friends? Name one.
Well, Well, ask my casual classmates or acquaintances. I am one funny dude.
Just because people laugh at you does not mean you're funny. And just because you can put class clown on your resume someday doesn't give me any reassurance for you to get me through this mess. I'm willing to see the obvious, Archer, and it's obvious I'm guilty.
No, I won't let you do it. I have put work into this trial. I have investigated. I have talked to people, for gosh sakes. I have conversed with persons.
I can't tell you how secure that makes me feel, Archer. My attorney has conversed with persons.
Witnesses, Mrs. Hingelmeyer, Bobby Finch, and Coach Harley Hooper.
Well, Archer, you haven't talked to me about this case. It's Notre Dame High School versus Tawny Linkletter. This case is all about me. And I'm apparently the only person you haven't had the time or inclination to converse with. Strange, but true.
My patience has limits, Archer.
Your Madam Honor, my client wants to put in a plea of guilty based off of trivial innuendo, school whispers, and the unsubstantiated presumption of those not worthy of presumptiveness. Did I say that right?
What does that mean? That sounded important.
I, on the other hand, am urging her to do the right thing. It is a prosecution that bears the burden of proof in this trial. It is a prosecution that must show her guilt beyond any reasonable doubt. And the only presumption anyone should have had in this trial is the presumption we all seem to have tossed out like a 40-ounce slice of green pizza, the presumption of innocence.
Objection? It is a presumption, not a fact. Our evidence will whittle that presumption down until there is nothing left to presume about her innocence but a lack thereof.
Then, Miss Prosecutor, it's time to unleash the dogs of war, because a plea of the defendant in this case is not guilty.
We'll dispense with opening arguments since you both seem to have given them already. Prosecution, call your first witness.
Our first witness is the legendary Coach Harley Hooper. Coach?
You almost nearly impressed me, Archer.
Just one quick question. Your parents are very influential in this town, so why didn't they just threaten to take the football stadium back?
I suggested that, but Mom and Dad said I was guilty and needed to take my medicine. They said it would help build my character.
That makes me feel a whole lot better.
Looks like I'm in the right place.
seated. Here to tell the truth in this proceeding as directed in the Teen Court Manual.
State your name and occupation, please.
I'm Marley Hooper, physical education teacher, head football coach, and instructor of remedial wood skills class.
And do you know the defendant in this trial, Tawny Linkletter?
I do.
And were you on the committee to select a new fight song for our school?
Objection! Leading question.
Overruled.
Objection! Assumed facts not found in evidence.
Overruled.
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled!
Objection, she's badgering the witness, Your Honoree.
He's my witness, Archer! Why would I badger him?
Mr. Attaway, I'm about to badger you out of this court if you don't sit down right now.
You're off to a great start, counselor.
There's a method to my madness, I think.
Now, where were we? Who was on that committee with you?
It was me, Ms. Hingelmeyer, and a student representative. We were to review the songs and come up with the top 3. And the student body would vote out of the top 3 entries.
And why was the decision made for our school to have a new fight song?
Nobody liked the other one. We're the Bulldogs, not French poodles. We will chew you up like noodles. Nobody would sing it, and the other schools laughed at us.
How many songs were submitted into the contest?
15 or 20.
And was one of those songs submitted by Tawny Linkletter?
Yeah, but didn't know until when it was announced. The rules were that the songs were submitted without the name of the person who wrote them. And they were supposed to keep the original to prove they were the author. They had won.
Let me show you what has been marked as prosecution exhibit number 1 and ask you if you recognize it.
This is the song she submitted.
And the name of the song she submitted to the committee as her entry in the fight song contest?
We Bite.
And did her entry contain both lyrics and music?
Sure did.
Do you know how to read music, Coach Hooper? In other words, could you look at her entry and determine the tune of the fight song?
Nah, Mrs. Hingelmeyer was in charge of the music part. I just took the entries and voted with the committee to narrow it down.
And who was in charge of judging the contest?
The student body, but the names were not supposed to be revealed.
And who won the contest?
Tawny Linkletter.
Prosecution offers exhibit number 1.
Gee, Miss Prosecutor, could I just take a little look at that before you give it to the judge?
I already gave you a copy.
Well, copy schmoppy. I want to see the real thing. Is there some reason you're reluctant to give me the same?
Let me see it.
What were you thinking, you silly young fool? This is an outrage!
Any objections?
No?
Take it away, Teddy.
Your Honor, we passed the witness.
So you're Coach Harley Hooper.
You sound surprised. Still don't recognize me after all these years?
Hey, you're supposed to ask the questions and I'm supposed to answer them. Wait, no. I'm supposed to ask the questions and you're supposed to answer them.
I'm waiting on a question.
Why did Tawny's song make it to the top 3?
It was better than most of the other songs. I liked it because it rhymed, like a song. And I told the other committee people I think the fight song should be like a musical poem. Songs rhyme.
And did you have a favorite out of the 3 songs?
I didn't know a dog in the fight, so to speak.
Then why were you openly campaigning for another fight song?
Objection? This is not relevant. Coach Hooper is not on trial here.
Proceed with caution, Mr. Attaway. You're questioning faculty.
Odessa Permian is your niece, isn't she?
We object most strenuously to this line of questioning, don't we, Teddy?
You're darn tootin', we object. We object like crazy.
You may answer the question, Coach Hooper.
We're related, but she's not my 100% niece. She's my stepsister's daughter.
So you are related.
Kinda, sorta, almost. What difference does it make? Everybody knows about it.
Oh, everybody knows about it, but nobody is talking about it. And I mean nobody. Because nobody wants to be on the wrong side of Coach Harley Hooper, the chairman of the Fight Song Committee. And nobody wants to say to Coach Harley Hooper that he was openly campaigning for another fight song written by his kinda, sorta, almost niece, Odessa Permian. Especially when nobody was supposed to know who wrote the fight songs in the first place. Isn't that right, Coach?
You were the only wood class student I ever had that couldn't build a napkin holder.
And you've had it after me ever since.
May this witness be excused? His
I
reputation
reserve
has
the
been
right.
tarnished enough.
I reserve the right to recall this witness for further tarnishing if necessary.
That'll be all, Coach Hooper.
But
The prosecution calls Mrs. Evelyn Hingelmeyer.
See you in gym class, Archer.
looks like I'll be running laps until I graduate.
Watch out, there's a step here.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Isn't it a lovely day, everyone?
Evelyn, this witness doesn't need to be sworn. She's as honest as the day is long.
Oh, thank you, Norvella. You always say the sweetest things.
Mrs. Hingelmeyer, how long have you been the music teacher at our school?
Mercy me. Haven't counted lately. I recall the last time a student asked me that question. It was 38 years. Now it's been a long time since I was last asked that question.
And do you know how to read music, Mrs. Hingelmeyer?
Oh, don't be silly, child. Of course I can read music.
And were you on the committee to review the fight songs and come up with the final three?
Yes, I recall it was me, Coach Hooper, and a student representative who was to remain anonymous for his or her own safety.
And did you know the names of the people who submitted the fight songs?
Well, the names were supposed to remain anonymous until the winners were announced. That way it would be a grand old surprise. We didn't want the students voting on personalities, just the songs. It was all about the songs.
And were you provided any guidelines as to what kind of songs should be selected to be placed into the final three?
Oh, nothing formal, precious.
Objection! The witness isn't supposed to comment on the alleged character of the counsel.
Oh dear, did I do something wrong? Who's that?
It's Archer, Mrs. Hingelmeyer. Archer Attaway. I was in choir once. For a day.
Oh, you. Well, why don't you just sit down and try not to be Mr. Naughty Pants and let me finish talking? Oh, that one's a backtalker. Can't tolerate a backtalker. Now what were you saying, sweetheart?
We were talking about guidelines for the songs.
Well, it was mostly common sense. We needed a tune, we needed lyrics, and we wanted the song to represent school pride, but without too many curse words. We also wanted the song to be zippy, just to have a little bit of zing in it. And we also decided that the song should not be too violent, but Coach Cooper disagreed on that, of course. You know how Harley is.
And regarding the tunes, were they supposed to be original?
Oh yes, original. We wanted the songs to be pristine, something we could all take pride in.
Do you know Tawny Linkletter?
Sadly, yes,
Is she in the courtroom today?
I believe so.
Would you identify her for the court, please?
She's the one sitting by the backtalker. Ask me, 2 peas in a pod.
And did you review the melody of her fight song before it was placed into the final three?
To my everlasting shame.
And what happened when you heard her song?
Oh, I can't recall. I woke up in the hospital. The doctor said it was a music-induced fit. Oh.
Let me show you prosecution exhibit number 1, which is the original document that was submitted by the defendant. Tawny Linkletter?
Do I have to touch it?
I'm afraid so. I want you to sing this for the court, please.
I only do this because justice demands it. We will win this game tonight, and your team will run when they see our bulldogs come, because we bite, 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 bite! Oh! The song was originally written in the key of C, but I transcribed it to the key of G for the purpose of this hearing. I'm able to produce better vibrato in the higher octaves.
Are the tunes the same, Mrs. Hinglemeyer?
Not a peppercorn of difference, if you ask me.
Shame on you, Tawny Linkletter. Shame.
I pass the witness.
Oh, well, it looks like my duty here is done, and I'm off to play my bingo game.
Mrs. Hinglemeyer, I have to ask you a few questions. It's called cross-examination.
Don't be snippy with me, Archer Attaway,
Or I'll cane you like a yard dog.
Evelyn, it wouldn't be a fair trial if you couldn't ask you a few questions.
Well, I'm all for fairness, truth, and beauty. That's me. Oh, and justice, of course. I believe that the wicked shall be punished, like her.
Mrs. Hinglemeyer, the committee had chosen 3 songs as finalists, which meant 2 songs wouldn't make it when the final student body vote was counted, correct?
Didn't I just answer that question? Do you have bubblegum in your ears, Mr. Attaway?
And when the committee had found out that Tawny's song had a tune that resembled The Army Goes Rolling Along, they immediately disqualified it and removed it as our school's current fight song, correct?
It was a stain on the legacy of this school. That stain was removed, yes.
So you would say that we received a lot of negativity and bad press about it?
A ridicule would be more like it. I was publicly humiliated.
So, between an agreement with the committee, the school staff, and the student body, they moved the song that was in 2nd place into 1st.
Is that supposed to be a question?
It is almost a question.
An almost question from a not quite attorney. The answer is yes. The 2nd place song was moved to 1st when the deception was discovered.
And what was the name of that song?
I know, as should you.
The name would be...
From the halls of our great high school to the goalposts of the field. Oh, it's robust and thrilling. It captures the very essence of athletic competition. Oh.
And who wrote and submitted the song?
This is silly. You know who wrote the song.
Objection. This is not relevant as we've already been over it. The song on trial here was written by Tawny Linkletter, not me.
Exactly. And the charge says that she appropriated a melody that was not of her own creating. So, I must ask the council, if someone else might have made a similar mistake. Is what is good for the goose also good for the gander?
Mr. Attaway, where are you going with this? The person on trial here is your client.
If I could just have Mrs. Hinglemeyer sing our current fight song, I would ask nothing more of this witness.
I think you're wasting the court's time.
Objection, Your Honor. He's trying to create bunny trails to divert the court's attention.
Your request is denied, Mr. Attaway. I won't let you impugn the integrity of the fight song committee, nor will I let you dishonor the student body by suggesting they made the same mistake twice. Evelyn, you are excused. Call your next witness.
Your Honor, our next witness is Bobby Finch. Additionally, Your Honor, this will be Mr. Phelps' witness. He needs one more direct examination to letter.
Remember, you're under oath, Mr. Finch.
Roger that.
State your name.
Robert Eugene Finch, but my friends call me Bobby.
Bobby, I have a few questions.
You're not my friend.
Mr. Finch, are you involved in any organizations or clubs in the school?
I'm the president of the Future Television Detectives of America Club.
And do you and your club members assist faculty and staff with investigations?
Well, there's the stuff we can tell you, and then there's the stuff we can't. But yeah, we help with investigations, undercover stuff, sting operations, searches, and seizures.
And how long have you been involved in these operations?
Including this semester, 1 semester.
So you've had quite a bit of experience in law enforcement.
I've been around the block a few times.
Let me show you prosecution exhibit number 3. Do you recognize this document?
Yeah, it's the search warrant for Tawny Linkletter's school locker.
And who prepared the warrant?
Yours truly. I prepared the search warrant and the probable cause affidavit, but I had to get a signature first from my faculty advisor before we could go on with the search.
And who is your faculty advisor?
Mrs. Singlemeyer.
Coincidence? I think not.
Objection, sidebar.
Sustained. We don't need comments from the peanut gallery, Mr. Attaway.
And what was the probable cause for the search?
Well, we had a witness who was willing to testify that Tawny had copied the music for the fight song from the Army anthem.
Was the witness credible?
I guess so. It was Mrs. Singlemeyer.
Objection! Infamy!
Overruled. You'll have your chance to cross-examine.
And did you conduct a search of the defendant's locker?
I briefed my blue team prior to execution of the warrant. They set up a perimeter for surveillance and added security. I went in with the extraction team to get the locker open.
Did you get the locker open?
Not at first. We ran into a problem.
What was the problem?
It was locked.
Was Tawny Linkletter there?
Affirmative. She was the one who locked it.
Did you show her the warrant?
Affirmative.
Did she let you open it?
Negative. She told me to take the search warrant and to do something inappropriate with it. Fearing for the safety of myself and the rest of the extraction team, we ran back to Mrs. Singlemeyer's office.
Did you ever get the locker open?
Later that afternoon, the extraction team and myself were able to make entry.
How?
Mrs. Singlemeyer got a key from maintenance.
And what did you find?
It was empty. Well, almost empty.
What do you mean, almost empty?
There were no notebooks, books, papers, pictures. The usual stuff was gone.
Did you find anything in the locker?
Just an old 45 record. It was lying at the bottom of the locker. Kind of difficult to see, though, because there was no cover on it.
How could I have been so stupid?
Control your cloud, Mr. Attaway.
Tawny, I need you to be strong for me. Will you be strong?
Probably not.
And by 45 record, what do you mean?
Oh, it's a small record. It's how they used to listen to music in the caveman.
Something like exhibit number 3?
Yeah, that's it.
And is there a song on this record?
There is.
Can you read it to me?
John Wayne sings Remember the Alamo?
No, other side.
Ah. John Wayne sings The Army Goes Rolling Along.
Prosecution offers exhibit number 3.
Counsel, any objections? Exhibit 3 is admitted without objection.
We pass the witness.
Brilliant.
Your witness, Mr. Attaway.
Ah, Mr. Finch, it is a great coincidence that the person who gave you probable cause for the search warrant is also the one who signed the search warrant. And just so I'm being abundantly clear, I speak none other than Mrs. Evelyn Hinglemeyer. Are we on the same page?
It was a righteous bust, lawyer man.
And when Mrs. Hinglemeyer was signing the document, was anyone else in her office?
Nah, it was just me and Mrs. Singlemeyer.
You are under oath, Mr. Finch.
And Coach Hooper, just the three of us.
You are still under oath, Mr. Finch.
And Odessa Permian and Teddy Phelps. Those two over there. That's it. Honest.
Honesty does not become you.
Says who? It was a righteous bust, and no fancy pants high-dollar defense attorney's gonna make me say otherwise. When the cat was out of the bag, Tawny Linkletter was going down for the count. And we were determined. I was determined to make that happen.
You said we.
It was an accident, an accidental we.
It
We all make
sounds
mistakes.
as if your happy little group had already conducted that Tawny was guilty and was going to stop at no lengths to make sure that she was convicted, even before you had proper evidence.
No comment.
And during your investigation, did you ever find out who wrote the third song?
Yeah, I didn't really have to investigate too much. I already knew. I wrote the third song.
Why, congratulations. So if for any reason Tawny's song not Tawny's song, hers has already been executed. Odessa's song were to be dropped out, yours would be up next?
I guess so. I never thought about it like that.
That's because it ain't gonna happen, Bobby. No way.
Perhaps way. Has it ever struck you that there is something strangely familiar about Odessa's song?
Yeah, sometimes it reminds me of other songs, but there's a lot of songs that sound familiar to other songs. I was singing Tawny's song for 2 months before I realized it was the same as the Army anthem, just different lyrics.
And maybe that's why nobody caught it.
I guess so.
Could you sing our current song for us?
Sure. From the halls of our great high school to the goalposts on the field, We will conquer all before us, and we will not ever yield.
That was beautiful, Bobby.
And now will you listen to the first two lines of another song? From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Have you ever heard of a thing called melodious distraction syndrome?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, it's a disorder that impairs one's ability to recognize two tunes when under different enough lyrics. And I think that might have been what happened right now.
I guess so. It looks like Odessa's song is stolen too.
I don't know what to say.
I know what to say. Odessa, your song is stolen too? Merciful heavens.
Well, court's adjourned, right?
Mr. Finch, I'm disqualifying our current fight song and replacing it with the song that came in third. Court is adjourned.
Oh, thank you, Miss Watson. I'm innocent.
I didn't say you were innocent, and neither are you, Odessa. I'm dismissing the charge because if you are guilty, then so is Odessa, and I'm not going to go there because the school's already been through enough. We don't need another scandal.
Archer, I'm so sorry for those things I said, for having no faith in you. Will you ever forgive me?
No, I don't think I will. But it was fun while it lasted. And congratulations, Bobby boy. It looks like you're going to be a star.
Thank you, Archer.
Mr. Finch, before I put all this in writing, may I ask you one more favor?
Of course, Your Honor. What do you need?
Can I hear your fight song?
Here? Now?
Yeah, here now.
Oh, say, do you hear, as the students all cheer, what a glorious game, as the twilight starts to fade.